We got Colin. I love RPG Shack and his promo. That is one of the best ones. That's so much fun. So, Carl, you have been working on my favorite.
Favorite?
My favorite. You guys, it's been so hard not to talk about this, but I love the Thief.
Yeah, we've been working pretty hard on him. We've really gone through a lot of iteration on this.
Oh my gosh, right?
And it's been through a lot these days.
It's all for good though.
Yeah.
So the Thief Elite Spec is the Daredevil.
Yep.
And Carl's going to come in and let us see it. So do you want to go ahead and get started? Actually, first I want to ask you a little bit about the theme of this. I mean, kind of where are you going with this class? Because I had seen so much speculation.
So yeah, as we kind of talked about this in the blog a bit, but we wanted to go more towards like one of the aspects of the Thief that is defensive by nature, but at the same time allows him to remain in combat, which is the evasion, his stealth, or not his stealth, his endurance and his ability to dodge and get through the enemy lines and stuff like that. So we wanted to sort of like help impress in this specialization the ability to like actually remain in the fight, dodging around, remaining in combat, as long as you play with your initiative and endurance. In a very efficient manner.
Like, yay!
We want to be able to actually stay in the fight, not have to retreat quite as much as the Thief currently does, and still like be that powerhouse and like finishing enemies off and hunting down like wounded enemies and just kind of being that really ferocious. Oppressive force in the battle.
Well, let's take a look then. I'm sure you guys want to see. I'll tell you what. First, let's go ahead and look at the gameplay camera. Let's mention really quickly, and we'll look at traits later on, but first the endurance bar, because you're going to notice.
All right, here we are. So to start off, the Thief's Daredevil's baseline trait is to give him an extra endurance bar. So you'll be able to have 3 active dodges, and the Thief's the Daredevil's trait line is usually more about endurance management, and we'll come to find out. I'm not using any dodge skills just yet, but you will be able to customize your dodge depending on which traits you choose.
Yeah, my V key actually looks a little dented on this particular, because I've been having so much fun. Well, why don't we start with the staff skills, because the Thief's Elite Spec has a staff as their weapon. So let's take a look.
Let's roll on into that. All right, so we have your first combo, which is 3 strikes. So the staff is more of a cleaving. It's an area damage type weapon. You have 2 strikes and then a kind of a whirl combo that deals damage to multiple enemies. And this is, kind of a theme that we want to hold true to the Daredevils. Like, he's got more area effect ability with the staff, and in general.
That is the best.
I don't know how long this one's going to go for, but
okay. So you start with just taking the hit, and then once you get to the 3rd hit on that one,
you'll send the staff out and kind of whirl it around and strike multiple enemies at a time.
Yeah, and I can hardly even see it.
It stacks vulnerability on the targets as well.
It's so tiny, it's actually kind of hard to see on the monitor that I'm looking at right now. But I'm still looking at it, just knowing what it does.
For most of this, my setup is Marauders, so it's kind of damage based. It's not full on Berserker or anything like that.
Yeah. And as always, you are still kind of tweaking this, and you guys can give this a test run in the next GW, right? Yeah,
and we'll go through and there's a couple changes that have occurred, and I'll talk about those as we go. So the 2 skill is called Weakening Charge, and it's going to like spin around, charge forward, and you're going to have 3 different strikes that go in an area. And what it's going to do is any enemy you hit is going to be weakened. It's going to kind of one of those things is like, as long as the Thief is fighting, he's going to be able to keep enemies weakened, because your health pool is really low. You have to have some sort of damage mitigation, and weakness is an offensive form of damage mitigation.
So you can make some use of that. and apparently knock things arms off. It looks
Yeah.
like.
If you're a golem, beware.
It's always just that one arm, so they need to look into what they're doing on those and figure out how to make the other arm attached as well.
Need to look into that one arm, I guess.
Yeah, you're doing something better on the right arm. I love this one.
Yeah, this one is also a whirl combo. So you'll be able to send some bolts out if you're inside of a combo field.
Nice.
Third skill is your evasion ability called Debilitating Arc. It's going to break immobilize if you are immobilized. You're going to swing your staff forward, hit him on the head, or wherever that staff may land, and then you can dodge roll backward.
It looks so great.
So you're going to cripple your enemy, break immobilize, and you're going to get out of there. It's one of those, and it's intended to be kind of at a position where you're open for the next attack. Mm-hmm. Like you can either dodge roll in or leap in.
Yeah.
You can use your other. You can go back to range. You can retreat even further if you want. You can this doesn't have. You don't have to actually hit an enemy in order to dodge roll. Mm-hmm. There we go.
You can still.
So yeah, you can still get out of there if you don't land the hit.
And we mentioned dodging out, and we'll show those off in a little bit. Yeah, I really like this one. You get back out because you're still not just a big tank. I mean, you're not in there to soak up damage.
You still have your low health pool. You're gonna have you need some sort of active defenses, and this is an actual true evade, so you can get out of there, whatever the case. So fourth ability, it's called Dust Strike. Maybe after your Debilitating Arc, you want to kind of control the next skill that your enemies are going to launch at you. So Dust Strike is going to send a cascade of blinding dust toward your enemies, and blind them for a period of time. It's one of those. It's kind of a nice ability to use if you're running in again, or if you're going to cover a large leap ability, or if you're going to, sort of. Oh, he's got panic. I've got Panic Strike equipped, so you got an immobilize there as well. So yeah, it's going to help kind of cover yourself as you move around the battlefield. It's also, I found it's not so. It's pretty useful when you're trying to assist teammates as well. Like you see a fight off in the background there, and just like throw some dust at them, blind an enemy for a period, like a brief period. Maybe they you can miss a fire grab or something like that.
Yeah. I like the use of staff in there. It's like you're taking that staff and I'll just kick some dirt at you. I'll show you.
Yeah.
I wanted to call it bully on the beach. Kick sand in your face.
There goes your sandcastle. All right, and then we have the skill 5 here. This is called Vault.
Yes.
And this is a large leap, and you're going to travel toward your target destination and deal heavy damage in an area. This right now. This costs 6. Uh-oh. Did it stop playing? So it costs 6 initiative, but we're bringing it down to. Oh, there we go. We're bringing it down to 5 initiative. For right now, we're going to try. We felt like it was a little bit too costly because it doesn't have an evade. It is simply travel to the location, deal lots of damage. So you want to cover it. You can be knocked out of it.
Okay. Let's
go to in-game.
Take a look
All
in-game.
right.
I do want to point out that I took a little peek at chat. I usually keep it closed because it's super distracting, but they quite enjoyed your 5 skill.
All right. So, all right. Well, we have.
Let's see the 5 again.
So we have Vault. This is the max distance you can go with it. Mm-hmm. It is a 600 range. It's got a leap finisher on it. You'll notice that there aren't any combo fields on here. It is a leap, so you can get into stealth with this if you want. You'd have to use other means though. So, woo! I'm gonna do some high deeps there. It gets a little stronger if you have a little bit more riskier build. I guess I can go. My build currently is Trickery, Critical Strikes, and Daredevil, and I'm using things like No Quarter. I kind of. All right. The one thing that I don't think we have in the videos though is the actual stealth skill, because there is a stealth skill on staff. I don't think we've actually shown it though. So we have your auto tag. Actually, let me show the tooltip real quick. There we go. Okay, so this the stealth skill is right above where I'm hovering. It's called Hook Strike. And while you're stealth, you can knock your enemy down. So back into combat, go stealth, and you get a free knockdown, which you can follow up with a nice vault on top of their heads. All right, so we can go back.
All right.
And so, yeah.
All right, so do we want
that's
to...
about it for that one,
like
for the
it.
staff.
Do we want to look at your F1 skills now?
You
want to take a peek at those?
Let's look at the traits.
Okay.
So your F1 hasn't changed. Your steel remains steel. Mm-hmm. And we have changed up. We've added the Daredevil Elite Specialization line. And so we have your first trait. It's called Enforcer Training. I believe we renamed this one since.
Turns out things are changing.
Yeah, things are changing. This one just didn't convey what it is.
But it's going to do the same thing.
I don't remember what we actually named it. It is like yesterday. A lot of things have happened since yesterday. All right.
Yes. But it's going to do the same thing.
Yeah, it's going to do the same thing. It's going to give you access to your staff and your physical utilities, and it'll also grant you this third endurance bar. Second one is called Driven Fortitude, and you're going to gain health when you successfully evade an attack. It's it has a 1 second internal cooldown, but it'll give you back about 500 health baseline if you don't have any extra healing. The Grandmaster is called Endurance Thief, and you're going to gain endurance when you successfully steal from an enemy. So, yeah, that is what it is. It's pretty straightforward. You're going to be able to gain your endurance meter back. And let's go over into the Adept traits. Do we want to keep going on those? Do we want to just discuss the Grandmasters?
We can look at the Grandmasters now, and then why don't we take a peek at the fights? And you did some fights, just put everything together, and then we'll delve deeper into traits and see.
Yeah, we should go through the physical skills when we get a chance as well.
Let's see if we can take a look at the fights video, and you can tell us about how great you are.
Oh no.
At this point, I'm just making people fight him because it's funny.
So this is called the Impaling Lotus, and what you're going to do is you're going to spec into Lotus training on your Grandmaster trait, and you're going to be able to throw a ton of conditions at your enemies. So what you're going to do is you're going to evade, and during your dodge roll, you're going to be throwing multiple daggers at enemies, which bleed, cripple, and torment enemies. It works really good with a condition style build, though the cripple is kind of good for a power build as well. There's a lot of different. There's at least a couple of different builds to it here.
I don't remember if you did up close when we were recording this, but if you didn't, I would love to show.
Yeah,
when we equip those
that's
daggers.
part of the physical stuff.
Yeah. At some point, I just want to make sure that's seen because
it
looks so great.
There.
You were so happy while you were doing this.
Yeah, well, I think one of those fights I was actually using still a Marauder build while I was trying to use conditions, and that just didn't work out all that well.
This is where we need Roy to go. Oh, God.
Yeah. And so I was able to just kind of brawl with these guys. There's a ton of evasion that you go through. There are still weak points where once you land, you have a short period of time where you can't do anything anymore, or you are not evading and you have to cover yourself, or you have to be in a position where you should think about a little bit more of a defensive measure. Yay!
Nice
Got the minstrel.
Everybody picks the trolley finishers. All right.
And that was I think that's through the video.
Okay. Well, you want to finish looking at the traits now that we've kind of seen it put together?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go look at the traits, and then we'll take a look at the utilities.
Awesome.
All right. So the first trait is called Evasive Empowerment, and after dodging, your next attack deals bonus damage. This means you're going to be able to dodge, and you're going to get an attack bonus. This says that your next attack, so maybe Vault, deals extra damage. So that was a 6K crit. I only get 5K, or around there.
Ish.
Next one is Weakening Strike. Cause weaknesses cause weakness to enemies you critically hit. This is pretty straightforward, and it's meant to help out while you're dealing damage to actually have some defensive style conditions going out where you don't have to, where you can take a hit or two.
Right.
Before you have to get out again.
Yeah, you're right. That weakness does make a difference.
Yeah, seeing glancing blows is actually pretty satisfying. I've been playing a lot.
It is.
I've been fighting against Roy lately and getting into. Yeah, but we fight all the time.
What does he play? Let me guess.
He plays a variety.
Oh, okay. I figured he was just totally sticking with the Revenant.
He's been pretty heavy on the Revenant these days.
Awesome. Sorry, Roy.
Yeah. So I was landing a weakness against him before he enters like his sword 3 skill, which is the multi-slash, and it's really damaging. But like if you get a little bit of weakness against it, you stand a much better chance of surviving.
Awesome.
Third skill, or third adept trait, is called Brawler's Tenacity, and you're going to gain endurance when you first activate a physical skill. There's a lot of physical skills that have multi-parts to them, and it's not necessarily balanceable if each one of those activations also rewards endurance. So we felt like this was a better way to go with that. Keep it static.
Yeah. I did like it, just giving back a ton of endurance, but apparently we have to play fair.
Fair is good. Or sort of fair.
I'm a thief. It just doesn't lend itself to fairness.
There's no fair in thief, wait.
See? All right. So, Staffmaster.
Yep. So the one of the master traits is called Staffmaster. While wielding a staff, you're going to gain endurance for each initiative point spent, and you're going to deal bonus when your endurance is not full. So, and we're missing a skill fact here, is how much endurance you gain. The answer is 2 endurance per initiative point. So your vault at 6, you're going to get 12 back. At 5, which is going to be going to, you're going to get 10 back. So you get roughly 20% of a dodge for each vault that you execute.
Okay.
And it's worth saying that things like Vigor really help out this specialization. So going into either trickery for bountiful theft, or maybe you go into the acrobatics line for the feline grace stuff. There's a lot of different avenues, and honestly, I've been building without as much damage. I've been going Daredevil, acrobatics, and trickery for all of the initiative and endurance gain and stuff like that, and I've been leading my build more toward the offensive style. But having more defensive traits so I can keep on fighting. Nice. All right, so let's go for the next trait. It's called Escapist Absolution. This is where you're going to have to make a choice between damage and survivability through evasion and condition removal. So you do have some answers to condition removal. This is actually a really low cooldown condition shedding trait, where you're going to be able to, whenever you evade an attack, this be it through your sword dagger, or through your pistol whip, or through your dodge rolls, you're going to remove conditions. So it works. You got to spend some initiative or spend some endurance to do it.
But it feels so good to watch those just start falling off.
Yeah, it is. And then the third one, we have Impacting Disruption. This is the thief has only had an interrupt trait for conditions. So we wanted to add one that was more geared towards physical power. At the same time, we wanted to be viable through a lot of different builds. And oftentimes when, with these procs, you get the really high critical damage, but really low base damage. And we wanted to make it feel good kind of at all levels. So I'll read it off. It says, cause a rupture that deals massive damage when the skill ends. The ability cannot critically hit. So it's going to deal really high base damage. Let me actually activate it over here.
Yeah. There we go.
And, I don't, actually we can do this. I'm going to make him use a skill. 5, 2, 5.
Oh, yeah.
Bop! So he's just got meat in the face, and then he popped for about 2k.
Sweet.
So your power damage is definitely a good way to go when using this trait. You don't necessarily have to have a whole lot of crit, though. Let's go over to Grandmasters. Yeah?
Yes, please.
All right, so we're going to go talk about the Grandmasters. These are what you will use to modify your dodge. So we have Lotus Training, which we saw in the video earlier, where you're going to spin around kind of Death Blossom style, and throw daggers at up to 3 nearby enemies. So this is kind of an area effect fighting ability. It's a little less, it's fewer targets because it's got a really wide radius to where you're throwing the daggers, and it's pretty powerful.
It's nice.
Playing around with it. And it's also a world finisher. So other than that, since we already saw that one, let's go on to the next one here. We have your Unhindered Combatant. This is your, you're going to use the dash ability, which is going to give you swiftness. It's going to break Cripple and Shield. And you're going to go dodge. Yeah, you're basically just going to get out of there.
Ta-da.
You're going to dodge. Oops, that was against the wall. Excellent.
Don't run into
Go,
a wall.
Carl. All right, so then and just so you know, these dashes are 8-way. You don't have to worry about like, oh, is it only going to send me forward? No, you're going to be able to go the same direction that all of your dodge previously could.
It's not helping you get to the enemy faster to get smacked in the face.
Yeah, and yes, you can still do kind of
nice
jump dodge stuff. All right, yeah, the swiftness is really strong with this one as well. So this is one that's made to help you get around that battlefield. All right, let's go to the next one. Let's go back over. And we have Bounding Dodger.
This is the one I love.
So you're going to leap to an area and deliver a massive blow. This is similar to your staff vault skill. You're going to have a leap combo. It's also going to evade you, and you're going to deal some pretty strong damage.
So satisfying.
Put ourselves back into combat. All right, there we go. You're actually going to like leap onto your enemy foe. There we go. That was all my endurance bar right there.
That was it. You're done.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
So Vault is going to deal more damage, but Bound is going to help increase that damage overall. You can also do things like steal and actually kind of guarantee a more.
It's going to hurt more.
Some damage onto it. I don't think it breaks the evade. I think you continue evading during that time. So, all right. Now we've gone through that.
That was all of them? What else do we need to show?
All right, so we got the utility skills now. And we're kind of breaking order that we normally do.
It turns out we still get to show everything off, and it's okay.
So we have Channel Vigor, and this is so you're going to be using physical skills as a Daredevil. You're going to have access to them. You don't have to use them. You have access.
They're just available.
I would suggest using some of them. They help you with your survivability and goals toward endurance management. All right, so we have Channel Vigor. It's going to basically heal up. It's going to heal your endurance as well, and so you're going to basically.
It all comes back.
You're going to gain. It's 25%. I think it's actually 25 endurance per pulse. So you're going to have 3 pulses, similar to the Elementalist's own ability, where they sit and channel and use their and lose conditions over a rate. So if you are at full, however, if you're at full health, you're going to gain more health. If you're at full endurance, you're going to gain more health.
Hey, there's a moose.
Yep, there's a moose.
A moose has happened.
Second ability, Banished Defense. You're going to briefly block incoming attacks, and if you block, you're going to retaliate with a kick. It's that knocks enemies down.
I could not stop laughing while you were doing that. I just sat there every time you kicked that thing down. I was dying.
Moose are fun to kick down. Kind of got an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie like this.
Moose Wars 2.
Yeah. The thing to note here, the cooldown is 10 seconds in this video, and it's going up to 15 seconds, being that it's a pretty powerful crowd control, and it's a block skill, and it breaks you out of stun. Tons of things to do with it. My favorite is actually to hook strike somebody and like land a vault on them, and then as they get up, using the Banished Defense, so their first ability usually is something offensive, and you're sitting there just waiting to snap kick them down.
That snap kick is incredible.
And also couples well with Pulmonary Impact, being that there's a lot of skills that hit more than once. It's a good way to add more damage. Second ability.
Moose Wars 2 is over.
This is it never ends. Distracting Daggers. So you're going to equip a set of daggers. You'll notice they actually have. We were able to have some effects actually on your arm.
Yeah.
So and when you throw them, it'll remove the daggers from your sheath. And each time, so this is basically an interrupt style ability where it's meant to just help you kind of control your enemies in combat, get them out of their more powerful abilities. And additionally, if you interrupt an enemy with it, it's going to increase the cooldown of the ability that it was interrupted by about 10 seconds. These are active for 15 seconds, so you have a window to get those interrupts off. Mm-hmm. And you throw 3 daggers.
Nice staff, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
This one, I see that we brought the moose back momentarily as well. So.
Yeah.
Sorry, moose. All right.
I think we fought against him a lot.
This poor moose. All right, so this one.
No, this is the same one. Still, we're still on the distracting daggers. It's close to being done. Yeah.
That's okay. I can sit here and look at this all day long.
Get to see them actually there. Oh, this bottom one disappears, then the top one.
It was a nice little touch.
Yeah. All right. So the next skill is sort of it's kind of an exploding heart or
that's terrible.
Like multi-strike ability, like where you see like your martial artists, whatever, like they do a bunch of attacks and then they have that final strike, and it does something really cool.
Yes, it does.
So we have the fist flurry to palm strike combo. You're going to attack up to 5 times.
Okay.
If you land all 5 hits, it'll flip over your palm strike. Your palm strike, when you hit somebody, it's going to stun them for 2 seconds, and after 2 seconds, it's also going to put a pulmonary impact on them. So they're inflicted with the same high damage, though it can't crit, buff that pops after 2 seconds. So basically, at the end of the stun, they're gonna pop and hopefully take a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Fury rising.
See, this is the one where I'm just happy. I'm just happy sitting here watching. But hopefully this will give you guys a good overview too.
I like, for me, using Bandit's Defense into Fist Flurry works pretty well, because you go snap, kick them down, then you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you hit them with a palm strike, which gets them a stun as soon as they're getting up, which then you have a little bit more time to like land another vault or
and just kind of keep that going.
Disengage, or this is the kind of a keep them controlled. In that control fashion, we have the next ability called Impairing Daggers. And you're going to fling multiple immobilizing daggers at a single enemy. Description's just a little long. But
still working on
it is, yeah, still working on that kind of thing. You're going to throw 3 high damage daggers that inflict poison, slow, and immobilize. The goal of this ability is to completely, just debilitate them. So they have to make a choice of you should probably condition remove this.
Yeah.
Or you should.
What am I going to do?
Or you should, make them make a pretty heavy choice. And it works pretty well for landing vaults, or landing a fist flurry, or just setting them up for high damage combos.
Yeah. Get yourself that stationary target and then vault in. Just start wailing on that.
And it's the projectiles, they travel at a fairly fast rate, and it's you're usually going to get hit by 1 or more of them. In like a PvP setting, people change a lot.
They might be able to dodge a few times.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. This is Carl's favorite.
This is ability. We've been working on this one for a while.
Yeah.
So this is the Impact Strike combo. So you're using Impact Strike, Uppercut, and then you have a Finishing Blow. And this, your Impact Strike is basically a flying knee toward your enemy, dazes them. You have an Uppercut, which blows them out in place, and then you have the Finishing Blow, which deals damage. So, the cool thing about this is that the Finishing Blow, whether it lands the killing blow or if they're already down, will actually finish them. Send them to dead state.
Really finish. They are dead.
Yes. This is to kind of help This is, I wouldn't say help. This is like to impress that
I find it helpful.
That's this is like this. The Daredevil is a great. It helps in seeking out enemies that are near death and actually finishing them off. We want to kind of cement that. It's a very positive role. All right.
I love it so much.
Yeah, and the damage is set up so that like the impact strike doesn't do a whole lot. The uppercut has the majority of the damage, and then finishing blow has less damage than uppercut, but it does deal a fair amount.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell a little story on you now that we're done, and while we get to moving back. Carl had that finishing blow, and we were finished rehearsing, and he was just running around the battlefield for like 15 minutes using that.
Yeah,
I was finally, hey, Carl, I think you have stuff to do. You should probably get back to your desk. And Carl's like, in a minute.
We're still working on it.
Yeah, you're just playtesting is all. Yeah. All right, so you guys can try this out. Beta Weekend event is next weekend, and you can get your hands on this.
Oh, yeah. Well, I saw a question on the forum today about the Elite, and that when they go down, they have a short period of vulnerability. You don't want to hit them during that invulnerability, because invulnerability means they can't
You're going to waste
it. It's just, it is a waste, but the ability is set up so like the finishing blow is 1.5 seconds and the vulnerability is around 1 second.
Okay.
So between uppercut and finishing blow, it's
so if you're
less
quick
likely
enough, you can do it, but
it's less likely you're actually going to run into the invulnerability portion of it.
Yeah.
But that was just something I saw that I wanted to talk about on stream. So
good.
All right.
So do you have anything in particular that you want everybody trying this out next weekend to look for? What kind of do you have feedback in particular that you're looking for, or just overall?
I'd like to know builds. I want to know. Sorry, I keep running around.
He's playing again, you guys. Stop it.
Too much fun.
This has been like the last week
builds,
of my life.
Your patterns in combat, like what you feel like you can, like after, it's going to take a little while to get used to this and to know where the vulnerabilities are and that sort of thing. And so give feedback on like how your attack patterns go and how can you take multiple enemies at once? Do you feel like you cannot take multiple enemies at once? Like to sort of throw this out there. This is something we're going to keep working on, and it just as every other specialization, like we've been doing some heavy iteration on the Dragon Hunter recently, and we're still looking at Tempest, we're still looking at Berserker, we're still looking at
things
that haven't been named.
I had this moment of please stop talking. Oh,
this is
the next thing.
This is not the first iteration of Daredevil.
Yep.
We've had a lot. We've gone through a lot with this guy.
Oh my gosh.
And it's been a trip.
So many changes.
Yeah.
And I would like fall in love with one thing, and then we'd have to change it for various reasons. Okay.
I guess, a previous iteration had all 3 of the same custom, of the dodges within the evasion bar. So like if you maintained high endurance, you could use bound. Mm-hmm. And so if you had 100%, you would use bound. If you had 60%, or if you had the middle area, you could use the lotus, and then the third portion was dash. And like it was just way too complicated. It was too hard to convey, to talk, to really show. And so we've kind of taken a step back and split it out and said these dodges need to be cool in themselves. And you want to make that choice of, do I use dash? Am I an unhindered combatant? Am I running around the battlefield at full speed all the time?
You have to pick one.
Am I trying to be a DPS dodger and trying to land on people's heads like like certain characters we know? I mean, I don't know why that came up. It's just kind of like, or do you want to be a really the Blossom style of thief, where you like maintain a range and you're using your impaling daggers and you're using your impaling lotus and you're trying to send conditions and try to be that really disruptive, really pain in the butt style of guy.
That one's fun too.
So yeah, that's about it.